This is Hannibal from the HannibalTV.com, wearing one of my Great North Wrestling shirts / the Hannibal TV that you can buy on our Teesprings shop, which the link is in the description, as well as at the HannibalTV.com. You can also get these wonderful the Hannibal TV coffee mugs as I drink this coffee before I do my nightly workout after this. This is the third time I've gone live today. I did an interview with reigning Great North Wrestling Women's Champion of Canada, Lufisto, earlier today, as well as multiple-time World Arm Wrestling Champion, Devon, who a lot of you wrestling fans don't know, but he's an extremely popular arm wrestler. Some of his past videos on my channel having the millions of hits. But I'll get on to the daily combat sports news here. I am so sick of scripted wrestling or scripted storytelling. WWE is just storytelling entertainment. It's storytelling performances. And Stephanie McMahon has been quoted as saying now, we do not have enough female writers. We do not have enough female writers in the writers' room. We are actively working on that. This is a dedicated focus to how we tell our women's storylines in the show, but we can always be better, end quote. They already have Dana Warrior as a writer, the Ultimate Warrior's widow. She's the one in the screenshot of this, along with Stephanie. I hate that they do like quotas. It shouldn't matter if it's men, women, what race they are. It just should be the best people doing the storylines. WWE is just so corporate. AJ Styles recently said, and I already talked about this, the fans can't handle the Attitude Era back. No, your company can't handle it back because you could just do it and then deal with the haters, but you are corporate and you want to try and please everyone in a corporate way, which is why you've gone the way of the lame product that's totally scripted and is just awful. I mean, the best, most interesting part of it, I guess, lately has been this Thunderdome thing, because you don't know what the fans are going to do. There was 3 fan mishaps on Raw on Monday, but apparently what's going to happen now, according to the Wrestling Observer, is they're only going to put trustworthy returning fans on the lower screen of the Thunderdome, and the newer fans that haven't been on multiple times yet, that might be more likely to try and flash the camera or put a picture of Chris Benoit up or put an AEW sign up or whatever. They're going to be at the top levels where they're not as visible and can easily be switched out. So that's how they're working with this. Roddy Piper, I saw today in a clip on Howard Stern's YouTube channel, a clip from 2002 that they just released today, who said he doesn't like wrestling anymore because it's become too theatrical and scripted. This was in 2002, and it's worse now in 2020 than it's ever been. And it was just sad watching that clip from 2002 because it's gotten so much worse back than then. I could still watch it in 2002. Now I literally can't watch it. I mean, apparently they did something on Raw on Monday where Randy Orton clearly missed 2 kicks to Drew McDonald, and Drew McDonald sold them anyways. Like, the mark of a bad wrestler is not only being able to actually do believable blows, but also if it doesn't hit, you don't sell it. But you got to go according to the script, right? It's not wrestling anymore. It's storytelling. The Amway Center in Orlando, more information has come out about the rent that WWE is paying there. According to the Wrestling Observer, They're getting a minimum of $200,000 for their September to the end of October rental. When days where nothing is going on, they pay $2,500 only. It's going to be $12,000 every time they hold a pay-per-view there, because those are Sunday shows. $10,000 for weekend events, and $7,500 for days when they have personnel in the building, whether it's building the Thunderdome, building some other set, practicing. So very good deal. Much cheaper than when they were doing the touring. So WWE is saving a lot of money. Someone pointed out at the end of my stream last night, I didn't catch it, that the Hannibal TV used ninjas in our mini movie, our theatrical match between Amber Nova and the Ninja before WWE started using ninjas on their TV. And that is correct. We did it first here on the Hannibal TV. I know for a fact numerous WWE personnel watch this channel, both active wrestlers as well as agents, because they've told me, and a couple times they've asked me to take down stuff. So I could definitely see that they may have got the ninja idea from the Hannibal TV. I'll get into some of your comments. And again, I highly suggest you check out my interviews with Lufisto and Devon Larrett, who wants to do a reality YouTube video with me and him starting ruckuses in various bars. Of course, he is a former special forces officer. It's more likely than not that he probably has kills on his confidential classified record. So if there's anyone that I would trust to back me up in a bar situation, it would be him. Kevin Wynn says Stephanie McMahon is the Chief Brand Officer of the WWE. Correct. The merchandise of our channel, such as this shirt and this mug that I'm not going to cover up, is available, as well as a new Blood Hunter shirt featuring the Blood Hunter and Blaze, all kinds of stuff. Randy, but back to the merchandise. Go to thehannibaltv.com, click on the merchandise link, or go in the description. Randy says, because Triple H took so much. I don't know if I'll say this, but you guys can read that. He does bring up the fact that girls... anyway, I'm not even going to say that one out loud. It's too controversial. Comedian Eric says, would I ever wrestle for New Japan? Everything's about money. It is a wrestling business, so it would all depend on the money. More female writers to care to our 4% WWE female audience. That's correct. They don't have a very large female audience. You can see it on the Thunderdome. It's mostly middle-aged and older men sitting by themselves. Someone says they should get good writer. I truly have given up on WWE. I really sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, hope they continue to fade away. And other products like Great North Wrestling get more popular, which I believe they will as time goes on. We're looking at possibly having Lufisto versus Taylor Hendricks, for example, once we can get another show going, once this lockdown ends. Lunar Force says, why do they insist on hiring someone based on their gender? It should be based on the quality of their writing, booking, etc. And they said something similar regarding Black Lives Matter a few months ago. Like, I forget what the percentage was, but like 35 to 40% of our champions are Black, and we keep it this way for racial reasons. It's like, it shouldn't matter. They don't do that in UFC. John Jones is a champion because he's a legit champion that's of that skin color. Jeremy Prophet is the Great North Wrestling Canadian champion. And that is because he's one of the best wrestlers in Great North Wrestling. It doesn't have anything to do with the color of his skin. Davey Boy Smith Jr. is the Hannibal TV champion, by the way, too, the heavyweight champion. Very proud of that. A couple more questions. Richard Min says WWE should go back and watch SummerSlam 92 to remember how good it was. SummerSlam 89 and SummerSlam 92 were by far my two favorite SummerSlams. And you never see this anymore, but I've mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again. At SummerSlam 89, as soon as the announcer says it is now time for our Intercontinental Championship match, the crowd just explodes, and it's the Warrior versus Rick Rude. When was the last time you heard that there was going to be an Intercontinental Championship match and the crowd explodes? Like, it was just deafening, and I just remember that because you just don't see that anymore. But it's because the fans bought into it. You didn't see Rick Rude and the Warrior going to newspapers saying how good friends they are and how much they're looking forward to putting on a good match and telling a good story. You believed in that feud because Rude had screwed over the Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 5, and it was just so much better back then. Randy says if they follow Stephanie's example, the viewership will drop even more. Kevin Wynn says I should be the Chief Brand Officer of Great North Wrestling. Dio says Chris Benoit was there, referring to the Thunderdome. We always thank you for the tips. We've had a bunch of tips in our live stream today, and we do appreciate it. I had my record $50 live stream tip the other day, and I am going to buy a protein thing with that protein powder this week. So thank you again for that. Randy says hire the best candidate. Colonel Quayle has heard about that. Kevin Wine says wrestling is the worst it's ever been. Well, there are some good products like PCW Ultra. I posted a match earlier today. Rob Van Dam versus John Morrison before he went back to WWE when he had more freedom in his character. That was a good match. It's funny. I'll respond to this now. Everyone, there's been numerous comments. Hannibal, are you in love with Tessa Blanchard? You've posted so many of her matches lately. The reason I've posted so many Tessa Blanchard matches lately is because she held the PCW Women's Championship for a record amount of time. And I recently acquired the ability to post a bunch of PCW matches. Women's matches do very well on my channel. And it just so happens that Tessa Blanchard is in a lot of their women's matches. We've posted her versus Chelsea Green, Dr. Britt Baker, Jordan Grace, a Japanese wrestler who beat her for the title, whose name I can't pronounce. Lots of great Tessa Blanchard. I have one of Rachel Ellering I'm going to post soon versus Tessa Blanchard. So Isaac says the ratings are going down rapidly because he doesn't feel anyone cares about women's wrestling. I don't feel that way. I would rather watch women's wrestling than men's wrestling. I think anyone that watches my channel knows I'm a big supporter of women's wrestling. I think it's the quality of the shows and the realism is gone and the poor storytelling performances. The Thunderdome mishaps are the best part of Raw and SmackDown. Kevin Wynn says, I agree. X Ertz says Drew took a bump for air with the Randy Orton boots. Yeah, it's sad. I have no respect for that Drew guy, which is why I had him confused with the real Scottish wrestler Drew McDonald at first, who is now deceased, but he was a very good Scottish wrestler. But his fans, the couple fans that the other Drew has, gave me and continue to give me so much heat over calling him that. I actually like to piss you guys off because I have no respect for him or his fans. So I will continue to call him Drew McDonald. Joe says, with more female writers, how long are we giving WWE before they go bankrupt? Luckily for them, they have a lot of archive footage, TV deals, that are worth hundreds of millions a year. Whether those will be around forever, I don't know. But they have a lot of revenue coming in. So the interest in wrestling will probably continue to go down. But the revenue probably, they won't run into money problems for a long time. And they're good business people. Like they are good business people still, as far as bad as their content is. They're good at business. And Kevin Wynn mentions that Drew's wrestling name isn't even his real last name. So who cares if I say whatever his wrestling name is? It doesn't matter. Dio says no more real men and legit tough guys in wrestling. What happened to Minnesota used to produce the best in the business. Well, another thing, I mentioned the other day that Keith Lee just looks like a big fat guy to me, and I'm not interested in him in that reason. But like a month or two ago, he was complaining about nearly being raped by a woman. And it's like, I don't know, rape is no joking matter, but I've never heard of a man whining about an alleged attempted rape by a woman. Like, I don't know. I'm very controversial, but that's just being a fucking pussy, in my opinion. Total pussy. Jeff says WWE will change their name to Women's World Entertainment. Sam Lenz says Drew McNaught as he actually is the lowest rated champion in WWE history. That is a fact. Mike says Dominic is a joke. Well, he was part of the deal to bring Rey Mysterio in. Joe says, how can anyone take that midget Adam Cole seriously? He just looks like a ninth grader that doesn't work out. Eli agrees that Keith Lee is a pussy. Hurricane says maybe it was a she-male. Well, if it was an alleged rape by a she-male, that actually reminds me, speaking of SummerSlam, remember when Jacques Rougeau was locked in the cell at SummerSlam 91 in that jailhouse match, and then there was that gay guy that says, don't you just love the way leather feels against your skin? They couldn't even do an angle like that nowadays because everyone takes everything so seriously. Cameron says he's an egalitarian, but there's too much diversity being shoved down our throats. And Dan says Drew McBorig. I agree fully with that. And Alan Kesselman says Hangman, Adam Cole sucks. I get him confused with Adam Page. Adam Page at least looks like he works out. I haven't really seen much of Adam Page. I don't really have anything against him. But Adam Cole, to have had that reign as NXT champion looking like he does, it's no wonder that they got their ass kicked by AEW so much. Steve says he has socks bigger than Adam Troll. Mike laughs at the Big Boss Man thing with the Mountie. That was great. Dio says Drew McStorytelling. Richard Min says PC won't like that angle. That's right. And it was one of the funniest SummerSlam. SummerSlam 91 was one of the best ones too, I got to admit. The match made in heaven and the match made in hell.